Watch more programs like this on cable and stream with PCN Select. Subscribe at PCNTV.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here today. My name is Brandon Bentram. I'm here with candidates from all across Pennsylvania with the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. We are here for freedom. We have candidates that are all the way from the southeast corner of the state to the northeast, in between, who are running for office in this coming November election. We have a full candidate listing of those on the ballot that can be found at www.lppa.org, and more information on the Libertarian Party for those that are interested. We're also asking that people support the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania at www.lppa.org by donating or becoming a member. Right now, it is so critical for us to be able to have donations. We're fighting against well-funded machines, and we're so grateful for all of the support that we've been receiving so far. But every dime and dollar counts with our fight to build more liberty here in the state of Pennsylvania. Right now, we are so fortunate that here in the state of Pennsylvania, we have the highest number of elected libertarians in the entire country. We have over 175 elected libertarians serving in various offices in Pennsylvania today, which is an incredible feat that was unimaginable even just a decade ago. We want to extend a special thank you to members of the press and all of our supporters that came and joined us here today on this beautiful afternoon here in Harrisburg. We're really grateful for those that have made the time and have come out and have sacrificed in order to further this cause. So a lot of people are asking me questions. What's the LPPA been up to while the Democrats and the Republican establishment politicians have been working together on policies that have caused inflated energy, gas prices, food prices, and general inflation while cost of living is soaring across Pennsylvania and the United States of America? Well, go give you a couple of those details. Recently, we held the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania annual convention in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. That was back in March of this year. And also, we want to extend a special thank you to the city of Williamsport and Lycoming County for hosting that event. So, a lot of people don't understand that our convention actually acts as our primary in Pennsylvania. And so while Pennsylvania Democrats and Republicans were using taxpayer funds to be able to get onto the ballot, to go and speak and to go and be able to get their names out there, we had a completely privately funded convention that accepted no taxpayer funding or monies to be able to pull it off. It was funded entirely by our own party, private donors, not by the taxpayers. Petitioning season has been going all across the state for our candidates to work on obtaining signatures for nomination parties so we can appear on the ballot in November. Because we are locked out of the primary here in Pennsylvania, this is a fevered volunteer effort that happens in every county where we go and we collect signatures one by one from registered voters across Pennsylvania. And we want to extend another special thank you to all of those that have supported us. Many of our supporters that sign our petitions are not even registered libertarian. Many of them are Democrats. Many of them are Republicans. Many of them are independent-minded spirits who believe that we should have more democratic choices on our ballot. We have minor party status here in the state. Thousands of people vote for libertarians in general elections. However, we are at a disadvantage because the Democrats and the Republican establishment politicians have made those rules. The candidates that you see standing behind me, and also those that are not here today across Pennsylvania, have had to have an uphill battle from day one to be able to fight and get on the ballot. As of this morning, the Pennsylvania Department of State site indicates that there's currently 934,671 voters marked as having no affiliation with any specific party, and 373,429 additional voters that are not part of the Democrat or Republican parties. That's over 1,308,100 voters out of the 8.7 million currently registered in Pennsylvania that are not Democrats and are not Republicans. That's almost 15% of the electoral vote. that we want to give a voice to, that we want to give an option to. Many of these people would stay home in the elections if it weren't for a freedom choice. And we're grateful for the support that has helped to be able to put these wonderful candidates on the ballot today. That 15% of the electorate, though, are not allowed to participate in primaries. State elections are funded by state taxes, and so that's million-plus number of registered voters paying taxes for elections. They're not allowed to participate in. This is really a perfect example of taxation without representation. And we all know how that went with the founding of our nation. So we have to petition for signatures for those nomination papers. We want to thank again all the individuals in the electorate that signed nomination papers, regardless of party, to allow us to participate and to be able to join into this grand democratic experiment and this practice here that is coming all the way here to the steps of the Capitol in Harrisburg, where we're excited to be able to run these races. So the other things that libertarians have been up to recently is Pennsylvanians had one of the largest delegations at our Libertarian National Convention this year, held in Reno, Nevada in late May. Now, we do want to note that some of the people that are standing here in this delegation today actually took money and time out of their own pocket and their own precious schedules to travel all the way to Reno, Nevada, again, utilizing no taxpayer funds to be able to hold our national delegation. We also want to extend a thank you to LP National and their incredible support here in Pennsylvania. In particular, our chair, Angela McCardle, has been elevating our reach, our vision, and our success as we continue to grow and we continue to win. Pennsylvania now has more libertarians on the ballot for an even-numbered election year than in decades, and we're proud to be part of this force. Some of our candidates are here in Harrisburg today to speak about where they are from and their campaign. We're excited to share that information with you. We'd also like to recognize all candidates that are on the ballot for this upcoming general election, and then we're going to actually have some of them have an opportunity to speak. First and foremost, our gubernatorial candidate for governor here in Pennsylvania, Matthew Hackenberg, who is here today. We have Timothy McMaster running for lieutenant governor out of York County. We have Eric Gerhardt running for United States Senate. Myself, Brandon Bentram, running for Pennsylvania State Senate in the 6th District in Bucks County. We have the following libertarians running for office in the Pennsylvania General Assembly, or the House. We have Michael Thomas from District 1 in Erie County, Pennsylvania. We have Ross Sylvester, District 36, Allegheny County. Fabian Asia, District 41, Lancaster County. Neil Bellevue, District 91, in Adams County. Joshua Gerber, District 98, Lancaster County. We have Thomas Anderson, District 109 in Columbia County, who just received the endorsement from the college Republicans at Bloomsburg University. And we'd like to extend a special thank you and acknowledgement to Bloomsburg University in particular for fostering an environment of free political discourse. You can follow Thomas Anderson for State Representative, PA 109th District on Facebook, and also find him at anderson109.com. That's ANDERSON109.com. We have Matthew Shutter in District 132 in Lehigh County. Anthony Portillo, District 141 in Bucks County. Lula Van Loo, District 145 in Bucks County. Alfie Goodwin, District 163, Delaware County. Edward Clifford, District 166, Delaware County. Autumn Pangaea, District 176 in Monroe County. Torin Danowski, District 194 in Philadelphia County. And the following libertarians are running for special elections in Philadelphia. An office in a special election in Philadelphia. We have Yusuf Jackson for Philadelphia City Council 9th District. Randall J. Justice, Philadelphia City Council 7th District. Poetica Bay for Philadelphia City Council at Large, and Mark Yurchak for Philadelphia City Council at Large. We're proud of those candidates also working in the city of brotherly love. We'd also like to take a moment to recognize Caroline Avery and her write-in campaign in Bucks County for the 1st Congressional District, covering Bucks and also parts of Montgomery County. I'm going to turn over the time now to our Eastern Vice Chair of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, Jessica Glover.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This has been a history-making year for our party, and our message has been simple. We have watched as the government has systematically been destroyed by the two major parties. They've been taking turns year after year, inflation, driving us to war, and allowing employers to blackmail us into getting vaccines into our body that have not been tested. I'm so proud of the work that's been done by each and every individual standing up here and those at home. And now, without further ado, let me introduce our speakers. Eric Gerhardt, U.S. Senate.
Thank you much. I am Eric Gerhardt. I am the U.S. Senate candidate for the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. I'm here to defend your freedoms, all your freedoms. Every single one of them that you had and every one that they've taken away over these last few years. I don't know that any other candidate can say that I'm going to come up here and defend all your freedoms all the time. Plus, being a small business owner, I care about the little guy, and that's who should be the ones that step up and need the help the most to be the individuals and have the freedom that we all cherish in this nation. There's so many things we got to end. The war's got to end. We can't keep continuing to make more bad blood and expect the world to get better. We got to knock down this inflation, get people back to work, and create an environment of productivity where everything is made here in America the way things should be, and we sell our products to the rest of the world. We were the global leader just a few years ago. We can get back to that, but not if we're stuck with the two-party system and don't get new young blood in office to bring new ideas to the table. I challenge everybody in this state to step up and run for local office. Don't matter what it is, put your name in the ring, give them a run for their money, and show them that you are the freedom that everybody wants. Thank you.
And now, Brandon Bencher.
Thank you, Jessica. Yes, in addition to my responsibilities with the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, again, my name is Brandon Bentram. I'm also running as a candidate for the Pennsylvania State Senate. Within the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, I'm proud to be serving on the Judicial Committee on the statewide basis. I'm also proud to be part of the Executive Committee of the Libertarian Party of Bucks County, where I serve as the secretary. I've lived in Bucks County all of my life, which, for those that don't know, is in southeast Pennsylvania, just north and west of Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. And I'm running for Pennsylvania State Senate in the 6th District in Bucks County, which includes Ben Salem Township, Middletown, Langhorne Manor, Pendle, Humeville, Upper and Lower Southampton Townships, Northampton, Warminster, Warrington, Wrightstown, and Warwick, where I live with my beautiful wife and my 3 wonderful daughters. My legislative priorities, when I'm able to get into the Senate here in Pennsylvania, are going to be focusing on several key areas. First of all, civil rights and gun rights, which I see as one and the same. In Pennsylvania, we are lagging behind majority of states. Right now, we have 25 states in this union who have passed constitutional carry. A top legislative priority that I will see is to make sure that we remove the barriers that affect those who are economically disadvantaged, and particularly minority groups, more harshly than people who fall into other categories. Permitted carry hurts those that need to pay to be able to play and to have their own rights, to be able to have self-defense, to be able to carry a firearm to protect themselves. Constitutional carry is a movement that has been lambasted by many of the critics as bringing the Old West into states. We haven't seen this happen in a single state where it has passed. So we want to bring that here to Pennsylvania to be able to bring ourselves into compliance with the admonition in our state constitution that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be questioned. Another legislative priority that will be at the top of my list will be helping to support those men and women who actually go and take the time and go and serve in our Pennsylvania State National Guard and Pennsylvania Air Guard. And that's going to be with Defend the Guard legislation. Defend the Guard legislation is an important movement that is gaining ground in many states that is going to help to return our elected officials to constitutional scrutiny, in which they have to actually declare war for us to be able to take those that are supposed to defend our home country and actually send them overseas. Right now, guardsmen and guardswomen are abused and sent to conflicts that we do not have the authority to be sending them to. Right now, our leaders here in Harrisburg are derelict in their duties of protecting these men and women and making sure that they have the benefits and the protections that they need. Defend the Guard legislation will help to address this travesty and be able to actually support our troops that we care so deeply about and that we need so badly here in Pennsylvania in times of emergencies and times of natural disasters. Finally, I want to speak a little bit about repealing and reducing taxes. I don't think that you'll find a politician that doesn't say that they want to find ways to be able to reduce taxes. But myself and the group that's standing up here actually genuinely care about that. Taxes are a burden that hurts every man, woman, child, and unborn child for generations here in Pennsylvania, as the spending is so out of control and we have so many entitlement programs that are taking money out of good Pennsylvanians' pockets and choosing winners and losers for particular causes, special interests, and different industries that learn how to play the game better than others. How can we pay for this? Deregulation and repeal. We can find all sorts of areas in our Pennsylvania budget that we can start to take away and we can reduce the spending and, as they say in emergency services, stop the bleed before we go and address the rest of the issues. We can pump up business and industry here in Pennsylvania simply by getting out of their way, and getting out of the way of individuals in Pennsylvania who want to go and do business. They want to prosper. They want to go and help others financially and economically to gain better things here. We have so many issues that are addressing them that are bogging down those that want to be productive in Pennsylvania. For instance, certificate of need, where we have industries where insiders are deciding whether or not new players can even be able to come onto the board. We have other areas where there's licensure and difficulties for people who want to start new businesses, things as simple as hair braiding studios. We need to get government out of your business and allow you to make the choices that you can, because I believe you are smarter than the government. I just want to thank all of the voters that have supported us so far in our campaign, getting us onto the ballot, and the volunteers who have gone out there. And I would ask you to please join us and check out my website at www.votebentram.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you very much.
And now may I present the representative of, a candidate running for General Assembly of District 1, Michael Thomas.
My name is Michael G. Thomas, Libertarian candidate for state representative. I'm running to represent District 1. That's Lawrence Park and much of Erie. I'm running for office after years of witnessing so many failures in government policy and administration that it's clear Harrisburg needs voices who are more concerned with fixing problems than with blaming the other side. Last September, Pennsylvania developed a shortage of COVID antibody treatments and started rationing. At the same time, Ohio had no shortage, no rationing, and a more advanced version of the treatment than Pennsylvania. Clearly, the shortage was created by some Pennsylvania government policy. but I can find no evidence that our legislature conducted meaningful oversight to find and fix the problem. How many Pennsylvanians did we say goodbye to because of this shortage? How many of our loved ones will we say goodbye to because of the next one? This is oversight. This is the responsibility of our legislature. And both parties seem too busy pointing fingers at each other to conduct it effectively. We need voices in Harrisburg who aren't afraid of party bosses, who put principle over power. We need to fix this. Let's fight inflation and spur economic opportunity. We need to increase living wage opportunities and bring economic development to our Commonwealth. And we need to find ways to fight the cost of living so Pennsylvanians can keep more of what they make. We've all heard the price gouging horror stories about off-patent medications like Daraprim, EpiPen, and insulin. Pennsylvania should protect consumers from FDA abuses by allowing our dispensary system to produce and distribute the competing products that the FDA suppresses. Our Department of Health already regulates and monitors the licensing, production, and distribution of safe and effective off-patent cannabis pharmaceuticals. We should expand that function to include these more lightly scheduled off-patent medications. Let's put Pennsylvanians to work producing these medications, and let's drive down the cost of living as the competition pushes prices down. We can use our opportunity zones to fund these product lines and ensure that the wage growth goes where it's most needed. Establishment party leaders like Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi have more in common with each other than with anybody you or I ever shared a Thanksgiving dinner with. They fight harder for each other's interests than for ours, and their success frequently comes at our expense. Pennsylvania ranks 45th out of 50 in pandemic economic management. Does it feel like we're ranking better in the recovery? We need change in the capitals. Vote for fresh voices in Harrisburg and Washington. Voices focused on expanding our incomes and attacking the policies that drive inflation. On putting and keeping more money in our pockets. And won't criminalize going to work, or school, or church. Vote Libertarian. I'm Michael G. Thomas.
And now may I present our candidate for General Assembly, District 36, Ross Sylvester.
Hello, my name's Ross Sylvester. I'm running as a Libertarian for District 36. That is most of the southern part of Pittsburgh, as well as the boroughs of Brentwood and Mount Oliver. How I look at as far too long as these people that work in this building behind us here, they pretty much tell us what to do. They take our money, and then they come to you and say, hey, give me a vote, and I'll give you some of that back. Why do we even let them do that in the first place? These people honestly have no idea how you should live your life, nor do I. And I want to give you that back. These people will tell you how you should live your life. I don't understand it. I have three main goals, and you've heard some of the other candidates up here talk about it, and they're all involving freedom. Whether that's your personal freedom and how you live your life, your economic freedom and how you do business, and the other thing I want to do, which Brandon brought up, was to enact legislation like Defend the Guard, where we can protect ourselves from the federal government. Michael also brought up another wonderful point that should be made when you look at the FDA and all the regulations from the federal government and how they hurt us, how we are not able to get the medication we want. These are some of the reasons why I'm running. And I'm going to leave you with this. This is short and sweet. I'm not a person for speeches. I want to leave you with this. There is not a person in this building here or one in Washington, D.C. that will tell you the truth about inflation. The reason why you have inflation is because you expanded the monetary supply, and this will continue until the spending stops. For more information about my campaign, please go to rosssylvester4pa.com. Thank you.
And now may I present our candidate for General Assembly, District 91, Neil Bellevue.
Hello, my name's Neil Bellevue, Libertarian, running for State Representative in District 91, which includes most of Adams County, in southern PA. I decided to run because we as Pennsylvanians are experiencing increased taxes, uncontrolled spending, expanding role of government in our daily lives. Throughout my campaign, I've talked to hundreds of people who are open to change and sick of the current political landscape. Number one issue I talk to people about is that Pennsylvania is one of only 10 states to operate with a full-time legislature, which also happens to be one of the least productive, as reported by Spotlight PA in 2019. Changing to part-time would allow the Commonwealth to cut compensation in half, saving taxpayers over $9 million annually. Pennsylvanians are also dealing with record inflation, yet our politicians approved a budget that increased spending by over 10% in July. Soon, our legislatures will have to decide to raise taxes or cut spending. When it comes time, do you think they will cut spending? I don't. That only leaves one other option: raise taxes. The economist and author Thomas Sowell once said, "The election should be held on April 16th, the day after we pay our income taxes." That is one of the few things that might discourage politicians from overtaxing and overspending. You can count on a libertarian to hold the line against taxes and fight to cut wasteful spending. Libertarians are vehemently anti-war, and with the Russian and China escalations, it's more important than ever to protect our National Guard. I'm calling on everyone to support Defend the Guard legislation. State legislatures have an essential civic obligation to their voters to demand that the federal government adhere to congressional war powers as mandated by Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Without an official declaration of war by Congress, states have a duty to withhold their troops from active combat. The sole objective of Defend the Guard is to obligate the federal government to obey the Constitution before sending our sons and daughters to fight more endless wars. In a few weeks, Pennsylvanians will have an opportunity to make a change for the better. But you'll have to decide if you are ready to change that by sending libertarians to Harrisburg, because, as we see with history, the Republicans and Democrats can't control spending or get things done for the people. The only thing they are truly good at is telling you what to do. For more information, visit my website, neil4pa91.com. Thank you.
And now our candidate for General Assembly District 163, Althea Goodwin.
Good afternoon, I'm Alfie Goodwin. I am the Libertarian candidate for the 163 in Delaware County, Upper Darby. Hey, what can I say? I am a retired Philadelphia police officer. I'm also a veteran of 21 years. I'm a recovering Republican, so I know how to solve problems. I believe in election integrity. Of course, I support law enforcement, safer communities for our children, and we need to put an end to the mandate overreach. Alfie Goodman, look for my social media handle and look for me in Upper Darby, Delco. Thank you.
And now our candidate for General Assembly District 176, Autumn Pangaea.
Good afternoon and thank you. Autumn Pangaea, District 176, that's Monroe County, the western half in the Poconos region of northeastern Pennsylvania. And my website is apforpahouse.com, because I'm going to forget to tell you at the end. So I'm running for a really simple reason. I'm really tired of being represented by cowards. When my employer started requesting last year that we register our vaccination status so we could return to the office after a year and a half of working from home, there was no question in my mind that I was not going to be governable on this matter. I was vaccinated and I could have just registered my vaccination status in that system and gotten on with my life. But that was not an option for me. My colleagues were desperate. They worried for months. They weren't anti-vaxxers. They were vaccinated veterans who fought for a freedom they saw being threatened. They were vaccinated moms and parental caretakers. They worried what would happen if they brought COVID home from the office. They suffered from autoimmune disorders. Their doctors who told them that they shouldn't get the vaccine were too scared to sign accommodation requests. More cowards. I was a thorn in their side. I sent an open letter to more than 300 people in my Wilkes-Barre division. I'd reply to all and explain that HR was mistaken when they said that the executive order on vaccines applied to us. They couldn't say anything to me. As a licensed customs broker, they paid me to interpret how laws and regulations impacted our business. They paid me to manage over $1 billion of imports into the United States compliant with laws and regulations. I used my credibility and influence to stand up for what was right, even though it made my superiors furious. Ultimately, my division in Wilkes-Barre was excluded from the requirement, likely due to the low compliance that was likely inspired by my decision to speak up. That whole time, I never even thought to ask my representatives for help. That's how relevant they've made themselves in our lives. With what I've learned on the campaign trail, it probably wouldn't have done any good anyway. Hanging up on constituents who asked them to push back against business shutdowns. Providing corporate welfare to the local pharmaceutical companies, and then remaining silent when those companies fired more than 300 of our neighbors for not getting the COVID vaccine. What's worse, they did it in March of 2022, long after it was well known that those vaccines did not prevent transmission. Employers are still quietly making second-class citizens of unvaccinated people by requiring proof of vaccination for new hires. A lot of people don't realize this. Our military readiness is being harmed as soldiers take their cases to the Supreme Court. Their cowardly superiors secretly support them while sheepishly complying. And now they're coming for our children. I'm tired of the major parties colluding to keep unremarkable people in power. Cowards who are incentivized to keep their heads down and their mouths shut. If you really want to push back against the status quo, support your local Libertarian candidate standing here today. Support someone who is unshackled by a script because they come from a fully volunteer organization where we only step up to act as politicians because we care. Major party candidates have aligned themselves with corrupt organizations, fueled by corporate funding that clouds their loyalty to struggling families in Pennsylvania. We are guided by principles that seek to restore freedom to the American people to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not imposing on the natural rights of others. If elected, I look forward to supporting Defend the Guard legislation, advancing marijuana legislation, and rescuing medical marijuana users from the bad laws that result in costly DUIs and practices that infringe on their Second Amendment rights. Every dollar the government spends is not theirs to spend as they wish. It's your money. I will carry that principle forward in all that I do. Taxation is theft, theft of your money through coercion with a threat of violence. That's why I'm a libertarian, and that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Before I bring up our final candidate, I just want to again thank everyone for coming out today. The definition of insanity is by doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. It's time to vote for a new option, the best option. I encourage all of you to vote Libertarian come November. And now, without further ado, may I present our governor candidate, Matt Hackenberg.
Hello all. As you may know, I am Matt Hackenberg. I'm running for governor. I am the one and only true populist candidate running for governor this year. Don't be fooled by the two establishment parties. Neither of them care about you or your families. None of the people in this overly ornate building. You know, I wonder how much it costs to heat this building this winter. I doubt they care because you're paying for it. We aren't. Meanwhile, I don't know how I'm going to afford to heat my home this winter. And this is a big problem we're going to face. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about us. And that's what we're here for. We're here to represent you. We're here to make change. The two establishment parties do not do that. They don't care. All they care about is their power and their wealth. So, as we see now, we have a a CDC that's pushing new recommended vaccinations on your children purely for the purpose of protecting pharmaceutical companies from liability. And as governor, I will make sure that these vaccines won't be turned into mandates. These recommendations will not be turned into mandates in our schools. And I'll also make sure that our children are not indoctrinated with CRT or whatever other pro-state madness that comes along next. And the best way to do this is with school choice. I will not rest until this is a thing, and parents are allowed to take their money, their hard-earned money, back out of the system and put it in to educate their children as they see fit. That's the only way we're going to change this going forward, is to stop the indoctrination of our children. And then from there, I will immediately, as soon as getting in office, I will stop the mobilization of the 500 infantrymen currently being deployed. And I will not send any more of our troops, of our National Guard troops, overseas, without an official declaration of war by Congress, as required by the U.S. Constitution. I will defend the Guard legislation to that end, so that'll exceed past my time in office. But the moment I get in office, there'll be no more Pennsylvania National Guard troops being sent overseas. And then finally, I'm going to repurpose the state police to do what they should be doing. No more throwing addicts in jail and prisons. No more enforcing this unconstitutional and illegal war on drugs. Instead, we'll be defending the people of the state from an overzealous federal government, an overzealous DOJ, an overzealous FBI, and worst of all, an overzealous ATF. We will declare the state a sanctuary state for the Second Amendment, and we will ensure that these Pennsylvania residents can own whatever firearm they wish without any ATF oversight, and we will be a free state as we were intended to be by the Founding Fathers. Thank you.
Again, I just want to thank you, all of our voters, for your consideration this year. Please go to our website, www.lppa.org, and donate or join to support the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. Vote with the party of principle, vote with the party of freedom, vote for individual freedom, vote Libertarian. Thank you.
We'll go end with just a few more remarks from our candidate for Senate, Eric Gerhardt, who would like to share them with us.
Wasn't really a remark. I just want to say go Phillies. The congratulations on getting into the World Series is a very good accomplishment for the state and for the team themselves. They played their hearts out, even though everybody counted them down and out, just kind of like libertarians. But they came back and they fought hard, and that's what we're going to do for you for the rest of this election season and the election seasons to come. Thank you for everybody who came here and stepped up. You guys are doing the work that nobody else wanted to do and giving the voters of Pennsylvania another option, a freedom option, and everybody should be proud of themselves for stepping up. Thank you.
Lastly, we just want to extend a special thank you to all of the supporters who came out today. We're so grateful for our libertarian volunteers. We're grateful for the voters who have been supporting us along the way. We're also grateful for the members of the media who came out here. We want to give a specific shout out to PCN, who has always been a very fair and unbiased source in our experience while covering the races that we're engaged in here. If you're sitting at home right now and some of these remarks, maybe even just one of them kind of hit home with you, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I agree with the men and the women that are standing up here that I am smarter than the government, and I am able to make decisions on my own, and I should not have to ask Mother May I for every little thing that I do with my life, with my wallet, with my home, and with my children. Then won't you consider voting with us, voting Libertarian, voting for freedom, voting for liberty this coming November election? Thank you again, and please don't forget to visit our website, www.lppa.org. Thank you again.